two names in golden era we always mixed between both of them. They were very famous in this time long ago until a short time. One of them, she died a few years ago, and the other, she died since long time. Both of them, they did a wonderful things, wonderful dances, a wonderful choreographies in our movies or films also in Egypt. Of course, one of them, she is younger than the other by only 1 year, not too much. But both of them, they did a wonderful dance steps and a wonderful choreographies. Let us go now and see both of them and how they became famous in golden era in this time until now. The first one, Nabawiya Fahmy. Nabawiya Fahmy, she was born 1918 actually, and she died 1953, around 37 years old. She was born in Alexandria with a very poor family, and when she had around 14 years old, she met an impresario, a woman. An impresario was in Alexandria too. In the beginning, she asked her to be with her for dancing or to do parties for dancing in Alexandria. She refused in the beginning, but step by step, she started to see or to find that she will earn money and she can be good in dance, to have a lot of things she wanted to buy, and in the end she agreed. Then she started with her. I don't know, and no one knows exactly the name of this impresario in Alexandria. But anyway, let us see the story. She agreed in the end, and after she studied with her for a period of time, around maybe 6 or 7 months training, she started to be okay. Then they started together in this business. Of course, in the beginning, she didn't tell her mother, or until the end, or before her mother dying, she never told her mother about that if she dancing or not or something like that. But she told her mother that she was a nurse in some of the hospitals in Alexandria. She did a lot of parties everywhere until she earned a lot of money. Then they changed the area they live in to another area, better area, and they lived in. Until one day the impresario asked her that they will leave Egypt for around 1 month or 1 month and a half, something like that, which it means exactly they will travel outside. Where? To Levant area. In this time in Levant area, a lot of dancers, a lot of musicians, singers, they traveled from Egypt to this area over there, to the Levant area over there, for make parties and something like that. For this reason, she said okay, she agreed, and said to her mother that they want her to travel to Levant area in a hospital over there for this period of time, then she come back again. After she finished her work and came back again with a hell of money, as we know in the story, after she came back, she found that her mother died. Of course, was suffer, and she was very sad, upset. She decided to stop dancing, said to the impresario this. But the impresario pushed her once more again that if she wanted to forget or leave this suffer, she has to dance and dance and dance, which she did once more again. It was like that until someone saw her and asked her exactly that, why not if she danced in Badia's casino. She went to Badia Massabni and she started dancing in Badia Massabni's casino. for a period of time until a director saw her, asked her to dance in one of his movies. She did only 4 movies, or between 3 or 4 movies in Egypt. I will show you a little of her dance in one of these movies. Then she became famous and started to earn money once more again, but she was refusing dancing, refusing this type of art because of her mother, who died because of her. She was thinking like that. Step by step, she started to work in the morning in somewhere, in one market in the morning, and in the evening she dancing. It was like this until she passed away. This is very quickly the story of her with these 3 or 4 movies she did and something like that, and then the story is finished. Actually, she did some good choreographies or dancing, actually wonderful, but she didn't change the same as the other dancers changed the thought of the society. People in Alexandria, they know her very well and they loved her very well. Even they believed that she had some connection, very strange, some connection with angels, with God, something like that. This is in their mind over there, in a very strange story. I will not tell you the story, but this is what people in Alexandria long ago were thinking about her. The second one, Nabawiya Mustafa. Nabawiya Mustafa, she was born here in Egypt, 1919. So 1 year between them. So Nabawiya Mustafa was younger than Nabawiya Fahmy by only 1 year. Nabawiya Mustafa, from the beginning of her life until the end, she is a dancer, by the way, and she did a lot, a wonderful movies also, and over 45 movies. She died 20 or 2001, around, yes, 2001, over 80 years old or something like this, around. Something like that. She did around, or she danced in around 45 movies in Egypt. The difference between their movies, I mean Nabawiya Fahmy movies she danced in and Nabawiya Mustafa, is Nabawiya Fahmy, she acted in these movies, but Nabawiya Mustafa, she danced only in these movies what she did. Nabawiya Mustafa, her mother was a dancer too, and was famous for, in Egypt, was famous for the queen of cymbals, the queen of cymbals. This is fantastic. Her mother was a dancer too, and her mother was very, very, very rich long ago. Her mother studied dancing and played cymbals with or from Shafika el-Qibtiyya and other dancers too. Her mother never danced with Badia Massabni, but was dancing with her group, with her musicians only in Egypt. Her name was Annous or Nusa. Her real name is Nusa, but people in Egypt, they mentioned her by Annous. She was the best one in Egypt play cymbals. Was famous for this and studied this from Shafika el-Qibtiyya and other dancers, but other dancers. But Shafika el-Qibtiyya was the best one for her, or the best teacher for her, as she herself said that. Also, Annous, her mother, was very famous for a goldy bell. Her mother was dancing, and she was the only one who dancing with the bells made of gold, completely gold, which is much more heavy, by the way. She created this belt just only for her, I mean for her mother, her mother, and she was dancing with us. And she said that when she became poor, she needed money. When she became old, she sold this belt, which brought to her too much money. I don't know who created for her, but really, I love to see this belt. I never see something like this or hear something like that in most of the stories with all the dancers. So that means exactly Nabawiya Mustafa grew up in a family was famous for this type of art. For this reason, she was the best dancer, as most of you know, and you can search about her name on the YouTube and you will find a lot of dance steps from her and a lot of choreographies from her. Her mother taught her a lot about dancing and led her to be a good dancer until she went also to Badia Massabni's casino, who she worked over there, and a lot of teachers in the beginning they taught her a lot in this dance. Teachers and choreographers taught her all of these type of dances long ago until she became the best dancer in this time. She was one of, as they said, she was one of Badia Massabni's daughters. Same as we say Mazen's daughters for the Gawazi in Egypt, they were also say that Badia Massabni daughters or Badia's daughters. So she was one of these daughters. By the way, in this time, Badia was collecting a lot or the best dancers to be her daughters, teaching them a lot in dancing and give them a lot of classes, and brought to them a lot of teachers, the choreographers, teaching them from the best places, as she thought in this time, teaching them the right dance. One of these daughters was Nabawiya Mustafa, and also, by the way, Tanya Gamal and Tahia Carioca, by the way. Still much more, or still more dancers, as she collected them also from Levant area. So we come back again to Nabawiya Mustafa. She started like this way. In the beginning she was dancing same as Nabawiya Fahmy. Nabawiya Mustafa also was dancing in a lot of parties outside Badia's casino, in some festivals, Egyptian festivals, and also in wedding parties, no problem in that. Until someone saw her as usual from the Egyptian directors, asked her to dance in his film, and she started dancing. No director asked her to act, but only dance. One of the beautiful things or the strange things that she was famous for fat body. Her body was fat. So for this reason you will find that 99% of her choreographies she did in the movies, she wear all the time a long dress, galabiya, little bit wide galabiya. Why? To not let you see or feel that she is fat. If anyone saw her body like this, immediately will say that she cannot dance or she cannot do all these beautiful dance steps. But suddenly, when she started dancing, she attracted all the eyes everywhere. That was one of her main points all the time when she is dancing. I didn't see her with two pieces, Oriental dancing with two pieces, but most of the time covered by one piece, or two pieces with something in between, very heavy fabric in between, something like that. Same like you will see now. or you will see on YouTube, but was something like this. These two persons actually with the same name, sometimes people in Egypt they mix it between them because Nabawiya and Nabawiya, but this Nabawiya Fahmy and the other was mentioned by Nabawiya Mustafa. She stopped dancing after she got a baby, the first baby, and she said that, Nabawiya Mustafa I mean, she said that she has to taking care of her baby, and exactly she stopped dancing until she died. She had around maybe 2 babies, and she stopped dancing, as I told you, until she died. But she was famous for a few types of dance steps. Was very difficult actually, no one can do it. I was until a few days ago think that these steps belongs to her, until suddenly one of these steps I will explain to you now. I thought that these steps belongs to her only, but suddenly I found that someone did the same step as she did too. One step now. This step is about I can or I bend my body back until I go down, much more down, until maybe my hair can touch my back of my legs to the other side, and I move like the axe around my legs, and then I stand up once more again. This type of dance step you can see, or you can find it on some of the walls of the caves, not caves, I mean temples from ancient Egyptian time. So you can find it like that. But through the history, from the ancient Egyptian time until now, you will not find anyone can do something like that except Nabawiya Mustafa. I was thinking the same like this until suddenly I found that Namat Mukhtar did it. So both of them, only the two dancers can do this step, and I didn't see anyone else can do something like that. When they go back, also they can shaking their upper body, which is very difficult to do something like this. Also, it is type of technique. Both of them were famous for this, but Nabawiya Mustafa was famous for more dance steps. Maybe one day we can make a class about her dance. We can create a class about her dance steps, and we can show you, or I can show you, or also Hoda can show you these dance steps during this class. This is the story of both of them, who were from the golden era. One of them very old, she died 37 years old, and the other, she stayed with us until 2001. They changed actually the way of people thinking, but Nabawiya Mustafa was changing much more. By the way, Nabawiya Mustafa, her dance steps was much more closer, or focusing much more to the Bedouin dance steps. She was using some of this. Even in some of the movies, they used her to be as a Bedouin dancer, and she did much more steps as a Bedouin dancer, but she mixed these steps with Oriental dancing. So was something special, and was something fantastic, and was also a fantasy of her, which we loved it very much during this time. You know, jelly, huh? What we eat, by the way. People in Egypt, we say that her body looks like a jelly. You know, when she dancing, you find that every inch of her body move with her and do something with her. Huh? So this is something very special she did, or she was dancing like this way. It was a special type of dance with her. I hope you like this very much, all these stories about the dancers in this golden era. These two dancers, of course, one of them maybe you didn't hear about her, and the other, I think many of you know her, and still much more stories about golden era, which I love very much to share it with you. So please, if you like this video, subscribe in my channel and spread this or send this video to your friends and be connected with me. Also be connected, yes, with me. And also, if you have any comment about this golden era or these two persons, I mean two dances, please write your comment down, send me. If you have any question, also the same. I like very much to receive your questions and your comments. And see you with another story in the next video.